take that.
Old blue building down there was there.
We have no lights.
Jenny, say hi.
It used to be like a keg store or something like
One more
that.
time.
Yeah, they knocked it down today.
Finally.
Is that better?
We've been after them a long time.
I think that's,
Yes, we can hear you, Jenny.
all right.
So I can hear it fine.
You can hear it fine now?
Yeah.
Can you all see us or you can't see us?
We can see you.
Oh, we can see you,
I don't have a gavel, so boom, boom. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the 3 MPO. This is August 15th at 6 p.m. And we'll open it up for public comment, which we have no public here. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Citizens Advisory Committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we did have a good Citizens Advisory Committee meeting to review the items on the agenda. Unfortunately, I just got a call from the chairman. He was unable to make the meeting. But they did unanimously recommend approval of the TIP amendments as well as the documents that are in front of the committee tonight.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the director about that? All right,
And now, he did ask me, I'm sorry, I should
go
have.
ahead. No, go ahead.
He did ask me to express some concern that the bids that have come in for the new bridge, some of the contractors are proposing, and I literally just heard this on a phone call from him, to actually use the rail trail for the construction purposes, bringing in workers and stationing cranes and so forth on the rail trail, and he wanted to express the concerns from the Mon River Trails Conservancy about those questions. He asked me to relay that to the board. I do not know much more about it. The bids just came in and I had heard about them. But I had not heard that part of it. So I'm relaying that on behalf of the chairman of the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Okay. I guess I should do a little bit of house, the way it's working. The reason I'm here is because our chairman and vice chairman were unable to make it, and I'm the immediate past chairman. So that's why I'm here. We have 2 members, Jenny Celine, and I think Steve is on there too, right?
As well as Mr. Carr.
And Mr. Carr are joining us remotely. So if it sounds like we're talking to the wall, that's who we're talking to.
Yeah.
Okay, next, finance report. Mayor Lewis.
In June, our carryover balance was $53,511.76. We had 3 deposits during that month totaling $25,229.22. 21 disbursements totaling $43,118.27, leaving us a balance at the end of June of $35,622.71 to carry over into July. July, we had 4 deposits totaling $94,607.75, 23 disbursements totaling $74,338.80, leaving us a balance at the end of July of $55,891.66.
I would move to accept the finance report.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. I kind of got ahead of ourselves there. I should have did that first and then have discussion.
Yeah.
But anyway, any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, Mayor, Joe, there's a box there. Is there somebody trying to log on to the meeting as well?
No, it's just
Oh, okay.
it's like a notification that the meeting is started.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't, so I couldn't see it that well. I don't,
We're at a kind of a funny angle here.
yeah.
To be honest, I'm having a hard time seeing the mouse too.
Oh, okay.
Close out of it. Is it all right if I leave it there? Because I can't.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, next is Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chairman. I appreciate the report. We've been very busy. We've been working to develop the Exit 155 contract with the county and DOH and working on that. I attended a meeting on the West Virginia Infrastructure Hub, which is headed up by a DOT employee. That is a central hub for all kinds of grant information and grant availability, including the state will prepare grant applications on behalf of local municipalities and the urban areas. Very interesting. I've shared information on that with both Star City and Westover and Granville. And I will let you know that Westover is working on a grant application for a Safe Streets for All grant to do planning work for them as far as looking at some of the city streets that aren't covered by the MPO, and we will be coordinating with them on that grant application. So that's a very good, positive development. Very much, did I say Westover? I said Star City. Star City that's working on the grant application.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's Star City who's developing that. So that's exciting news. We also have been working on getting all these plans and everything together and economic development issues. And I would let you know that I will be traveling to Salt Lake City, Utah, at the end of September for the National Association of MPOs conference there. And I will also be participating in board meetings there. So that'll be the last week in September. Otherwise, I think everything's good to go.
Very good. Any questions for the director? Comments? All good? All right. Next is the 2024 August TIP amendments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would recommend that these TIP amendments be taken individually. We have one TIP amendment requested from the Division of Highways, which is an increase in the budget for the ongoing Greenbag Road project. It's a GO-bond funded project. The Division of Highways wants to increase the budget from $16 million to $21,350,000. I am not sure of the exact reason for those issues. I would assume that they're related to right-of-way acquisition as well as to construction costs. Mr. Carr, do you have any comments on that? Apparently he doesn't.
No, it took me a second to find the mute button, so I can take myself off mute. No, I really don't have anything else to add with respect to that particular project. It's like a lot of things. The original cost estimates that were programmed, and as we keep moving forward, we get more and more refined with our cost estimates and things. And I mean, that's just pretty much the current operating with everything we got going on. I mean, prices are going up on a lot of things, so I can't specifically say certain items or whatnot, but I really don't have anything else.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is, federal funding remains at zero.
Right.
So it's just
This is all
state
general
funds.
obligation bond funding.
I would so move that amendment.
Okay, we have a motion to move. Second. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, next. Outline.
The next TIP amendments, and I'll discuss this a little bit, are from Mountain Line Transit Authority, and essentially we go through this process every year where they look at the grants that they will be receiving from the Federal Transit Administration and refine their budgets. The TIP amendments for Mountain Line are kind of placeholders that we adjust almost every year. And rather than go into detail on them just real quick, I would add a comment that the state has a more permissive and almost a too permissive policy on what is an administrative adjustment. And so in discussing that with Ms. Smith, we will look to amend the TIP administrative adjustment policy upwards, so we don't have quite as many of these small TIP amendments as we have in the past. But that's also an issue on a statewide level. I've been in discussions with the Federal Transit Administration, as well as some discussions with the Division of Highways, and I will be having a discussion with the Director of the Public Transit Administration for West Virginia DOT on how to adjust that on a statewide level and how we can address those issues. But these are all small TIP amendments that are basically allocating funds for vehicle replacement, vehicle maintenance, and those sorts of things that we go through every year. And I can go through them. They have been published online, and they have been available to everybody if the board wishes to dispense with that. But
I would move to dispense with that and make a motion to approve the Mountain Line TIP amendments as presented in a bundle.
second.
We have a motion and a second, so there's nobody's interested in any pullouts to discuss separately? Okay, so we're going to do them all at one time? All righty. No discussions? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same? Oop. I'm sorry, I need to wait for the ones online. Okay, motion carries.
I will also bring your attention to the administrative adjustments that have gone through recently. As you know, the administrative adjustments do not take policy board action, but we will note that the Dunkard Avenue resurfacing project, they increased the budget somewhat for that project. It was increased to $2,250,000. That project is scheduled to be done in FY 2025, which I believe is in conjunction with the City of Westover's project to Holland Avenue.
Which is, Holland turns into
Right.
Dunkard, so. Somewhat.
I would also point out that there's the Chestnut Ridge pedestrian improvement project, which I think Ms. Hardy talked about, and you know, the MPO did a study on that. And they have $2 million in funding to rework that area. You all may recall the report that the MPO submitted a while back on that. So we're very happy to see that administrative adjustment. There's some minor funding changes with the Interstate 68 overpass and University Avenue Bridge. I will point out that they've moved the Brookhaven Road intersection project forward to this fiscal year, which means they anticipate obligating the funds this year. So that project should be moving forward too. So I call that to the board's attention for your information. So we hope that that project will get moving forward quickly. But I did want to bring that to the board.
So none of those are action items.
None of those are action items, just information from the policy.
All right. Next is the electric vehicle charging station study.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this study has been before the board twice. And it is really, I think, a good assessment of the anticipated future need for charging stations. It's also got a good look, detailed look at where charging stations exist now in the area. And we've identified the need within particular regions within the MPO. We have not identified locations, but for example, if you look in, I'll just throw out South Park, we've identified the need for X number of charging stations in South Park. It's also very good informationally. It identifies potential funding sources for implementing charging stations. The whole Appendix A is a list of about, I think it's 40 potential funding sources for the installation of charging stations using primarily federal funds. So this is a good overview to be prepared for when there is more funding available for the installation of charging stations, or for resources for WVU, the city, the county, other agencies that are interested in implementing charging stations. The CAC and the TTAC have both reviewed the document and are satisfied with it and recommended approval by the policy board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second. I would just say that on our school buses, we have a few electric ones now, and we'll probably wind up with 10 in the near future. Then we have our own charging system up there. It's, I understand the other night when we were talking, it's like 0 to 100% in just a few hours. So it's, which is way better than charging all night. So that's a good thing. Does anybody else have any comments, questions? Okay, you need a,
We have a motion.
so yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do you need anything else is what I was going to say. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Next, we have the pedestrian bridge feasibility study, scope of work.
Yeah. As the policy board may be aware, a pedestrian crossing on Don Knotts Boulevard, somewhere in the vicinity of Sargasso and the waterfront, has been on the MPO's Tier 1 project list, and has been a great interest to the city of Morgantown for quite a long time. The city is looking to move forward to implement that project. We've had a meeting and discussions with the Division of Highways Traffic Operations Group. They expressed concerns about the potential feasibility of building that pedestrian bridge, particularly given the steepness of the hill from First Ward coming down to that area. Concerned about potential ADA concerns, having to install an elevator, those sorts of things.
Be an expensive bridge.
It could be an expensive pedestrian bridge. The city requested that we do a preliminary engineering study, or get a preliminary engineering study done to look at the feasibility of actually doing that, the planning level cost estimates, but actually looking at how feasible it would be and what kind of construction would need to be used. And also the city's discussed a couple potential different locations for the bridge. It would also look at that issue. But it's more of a 50,000-foot oversight. That's the way we've scheduled the scope of work. Is it feasible, and where should it go? And with some preliminary cost estimates. And so we anticipate releasing this, and we've had discussions with our consultants already, to the consultants on our on-call contract to bid on and to get them to do the work for the study. So what we would do was ask the policy board to approve the scope of work for this. And we've been working with city engineering staff as well as others to develop the scope of work. And it was reviewed by the TTAC and the CAC.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to accept.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second, with clarity,
I was going to say, no, we,
or with a
Discussion.
question, yeah. So who pays for the engineering?
We actually have it budgeted within our MPO budget.
Okay.
That's one of the line items.
Okay.
Bill, can you explain what you're asking?
What do you mean? Well, we're asking for approval of the scope of work for the study to be done by one of our on-call consultants.
And the DOH, I mean, we have topography in our area, and people with ADA issues and all other issues need to figure out ways to surmount it. I'm sure that Pittsburgh has all kinds of ways of surmounting topography. There must be a good way to do this.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to find out with this study.
Yeah, that's what we're going to find out with the study.
All right,
Oh,
I'm good.
I am a firm believer, though, that with enough money, you can do just about anything. So it will identify the cost, and so we'll understand that better.
It's just a huge area that doesn't have access right now.
Right.
And should have access across this way and down to the trail. It's kind of nutty. So yeah, it's very much appreciated. Please keep it going.
As someone that crosses that road all the time to get to the rail trail, because I live right there, I would like to see it.
yeah, you're right up on the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, the same?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I keep rushing those guys. Motion carries. Keep forgetting we have a lag on the ones that are
Yeah.
zooming. Okay, University Avenue pedestrian safety scope.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we've had discussions with Star City and the city of Morgantown about pedestrian crossings along University Avenue, from Patterson Drive all the way through the town of Star City. We put together a scope of work. We're still kind of debating. We may do this study in-house with our staff. I think it would be a good project for Jackie, our new employee, to work on the data collection and so forth. But what we would be doing is doing pedestrian counts along University Avenue, identify where people are crossing, where they're coming from, kind of like the study that we did with Chestnut Ridge. And this is the scope of work for that study. There is another alternative, and we will discuss a little bit more internally, that we could also release this study, and we do have the funding available to have one of our consultants do it. But I want to think about that a little bit more. But I wanted to present this to the board so you'd understand that we're doing the work and get the approval if our discussion turns out that we want to go ahead and contract with one of our on-call consultants to do the work. It's a small study.
She may not think so.
Yeah.
Put her to work.
So we would appreciate approval of the board of this scope of work. And I will certainly, before we make any final decision, inform the board of the recommendation. So if there is a concern about it, we'll hold up if we decide to go with the consultant.
All right, do we have a motion for the
So moved.
Second.
second? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, other business, one thing.
Somebody's got to do something controversial, so Ben has something to write about tomorrow. That's been
We
pretty.
can talk about me cutting them off before they
Yeah,
get a chance to
that's what you
vote.
write about, Ben. This guy cuts them off.
Minutes, I noticed we haven't, we need to have that on there.
Yeah, that is my fault.
we wanna make sure it's-
We'll carry them over to the
gonna
next
say,
meeting.
make sure
I
we're-
apologize. That's what happened when I cannibalized agendas.
Okay, other business, anybody have anything they want to comment on? Or?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When we hear people from the MRTC and so on asking or mentioning construction of the bridge and preservation of the trail, would it be within this group to send some sort of a letter asking that the impact on the trail be minimized? I don't think that would compromise a giant bridge, but a little trail underneath that's been worked on for years sure would be nice to minimize the impact on the trail and to just ask for that.
You're talking about as far as the construction, not impacting the
Yeah.
trail? Is that what you mean?
Construction, the construction period, the amount of closure, the amount
Okay.
of impact. I just, we keep hearing, you know, little peep here, little peep there. Boy, we're concerned about this bridge. Boy, we're concerned about this trail. Seems like a group like this could certainly just say, please. It's a community asset that people talk about and use. It sure would be nice if they, when they were, that it wasn't just considered a place to have a complete laydown yard, that if they were doing that, they do that to the side somewhere.
I think that would come after we get the scope, that report back.
Well,
We're
this
not
is,
in
no,
it.
no, this is the new access bridge, the industrial park access bridge.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Do you have that information back?
I do not
with-
have that information.
I mean, I think we all share the same concern, but
Yeah.
until we clarify that
I will
information.
look into it,
Okay.
and get that information to the policy.
We could do that
Yeah,
information.
if we could write a letter or something that just expressed that, you know, we value all of different types of transportation and that we make sure that we're not compromising one to have another, that if we can,
We could write a generic letter saying what other alternative is picked.
We don't even know what their plans are.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
there
I'm
may not
saying.
be any.
yeah, it's
May
not,
not even be feasible.
well, it's gonna cross, it's gotta cross.
So I will look into what the actual bids say and find out and send an email
Just
to the
in-
board
in
letting
gen-
you
In
know.
general, that there be given due consideration to this other mode of transportation that's right there.
Right.
Anyway, yep,
Yeah, just-
have a look. It just, kind of every step of the process, this is gonna come up, I imagine.
We'll just put it on the radar and
Yep.
keep an eye on it.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification's sake.
I'm sorry?
Just for clarification's sake.
Yes, sir.
What you're telling us is that this was not written up, that the trail be considered in the bid process, but rather when they got the returns from the contractors were conditioning their bid on access to the trail?
Some of them, that was just from a short, brief phone call I had with Mr. Bildso right before the meeting started.
And we're talking about the bridge to the industrial park?
Yes.
Yes.
So he's reviewed the bids and has decided.
Apparently, they found information on it,
Well,
and I don't know.
Why don't you
I
go?
guess kind of getting the facts would be really helpful, and
Yeah.
the express,
I will look into it.
MRTC has expressed really explicitly to DOH the concern about that all along, so
Yeah.
I would hope that that'd be reflected in.
In the
Yeah.
consideration, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I would too.
But just if this group at some point saw fit to just ask the DOH that at every step that we give consideration to it, not that we stop the project, not that we, you know, modify the project in a way that it's not feasible, but that we just give due consideration. That's it.
I would say when it becomes a construction site, that's when it's going to be difficult for them to be able to, but again, like you said, we'll put the radar on it and just see what they can do.
Maybe this is a stupid question, Bill, but what stage of the process are they in? They just got bids?
They just got the bids in, and they're evaluating them.
And there's information about that that's out in the public?
Apparently,
Nobody's seen the bids.
No
so-
one's seen it.
Well, I've heard numbers.
Yeah.
Who's getting those numbers?
Well, the bids are being reviewed by DOH, it's a DOH project.
Okay. But I think it'd be short-sighted to share that while they're still evaluating the bids.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I know what I was reported by our CA.
Because if you're putting a number out in public, but you haven't evaluated the overall technical proposal yet, then,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that-
Why don't you call DOH and get clarification?
That was what I was planning to do.
Does Brian have any information?
Brian, have you heard anything on this?
Give him time, find the button.
I have not. I mean, you know, with respects to anything going on with the bridge and the construction, how the contracts are going to operate, you know, what impacts they're going to have in the community, whether it's utilizing the trail or anything else. I have not heard any. I know we have, and I'm a little surprised if it hasn't. That's why I'm just wondering, you know, if it's possible there's some misinformation out there. But I know, you know, here locally, I know in Panhandle, when we have had significant projects that are going to, you know, where the traffic patterns are changing on a routine basis, or you know, something of that nature. The contractor and or the state, through press releases or whatever, generally put out a lot of information that may, you know, disrupt. I would say when they're talking about using the trail, I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if they're just, you know, they're parking up there, they're using the trail to access things. I don't know if they're bringing material. I really have no idea. Yeah, I would think it would be, you know, prudent to just you know, at a minimum, like you say, whether you want to write a letter or you want to just try to do something a little more informal and reach out to, you know, the secretary or even me and just send me an email and I can try to find out from, you know, or other administrators to find out, hey, what's going on, who's in charge here, who's putting out press releases or anything like that. So, I mean, a formal letter, you know, get, you know, a reaction quicker. So yeah, I'm just surprised, I can tell you, if there's going to be a significant disruption of any kind, that usually we put out press releases, something to identify what's happening, why it's happening, how long it's going to happen, that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I probably should not have shared that comment because I have not had it verified that that's what's going on. So I apologize to the board for that. But we will look into the situation.
See, I think that the type of considerations are that trail's not designed for truck traffic at all. You know, it's just designed for bicycles and maybe a light truck once in a while. And so if that's being used for any kind of use, it has, you know, a number of years of compaction if the ballast and everything is original. So if you breach that, then you have a different situation. So it's just not designed for people to use it for an access road because it's just not one. So whatever's being done needs to be done very carefully and due consideration.
You need to verify.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's always better to verify with discussion than, now if Ben writes all that tomorrow in the Dominion Post, we'll call him the National Enquirer next time, and none of it's true, so you need to verify everything.
I will verify it.
Because it's weird that not even a state representative has that source of information and verify.
And it could just be what a contractor thought. So
I mean, I think our consensus
every
here
step of
tonight
the way,
is
we need to think
we're
about
all
it.
concerned about, we would like, this project's important, but we also want to minimize the impact, but until you can verify something, you don't even know if there's going to be an impact.
Well, and also the thing is, it's some bids may include that, some bids may not. And so anyway, as I said, I apologize to the board really to bringing it up because it wasn't as verified as it should have been.
I think the base of the trail is fine. It's a rail bed, so it's going to be able to handle the weight. The paving that is done since that point might be part of the issue, but I know there's places where the trail, sometimes that's how people get to their houses. It's not, you know. Anyway, any other business?
If I may express congratulations to Mayor of the Year
Yep.
from Granville.
Yep. I just read your nice article too.
Pardon me?
There's an article now in the Dominion Post for, I guess, tomorrow.
Now you're letting out information.
No, it's public, right? It's factual and verified, right, Ben?
So, a speech,
That's
you
a
want
very big
to
honor.
make an acceptance speech? All right, if we don't have anything else, nobody on Zoom has anything else?
Austin, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just was going to ask a quick question here. Have we heard anything as we're approaching fall about either permanent or the temporary lights at exit 155? And I'll mute while you answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't been inquiring about that, and in fact, I'm owed a phone call from DOH about that. And so I will call that person who was going to call me and see if I can find out more, but I am following up on it.
Would you shoot us an email once you?
Yeah, I think originally it was later this year is when it was supposed to be, so
That
it could
was the
be
initial
very well
discussion.
still be on track.
Yeah, I was supposed to have talked to him early this week, and he didn't give me a call.
We have an activity on the 31st of this month that probably will draw some folks on that exit, I imagine.
Just a few.
Won't they come down through Uniontown?
Maybe. We can reroute them, we'll reroute traffic through Uniontown.
Yeah. Okay, well done. We're adjourned. Meeting adjourned. I have no gavel, so.